Betrayal almost never comes out of nowhere. Before the first act, before anything actually happens, there is a shift, a quiet, invisible reorganization happening inside a man's psychology, a mental preparation that he himself may not fully recognize he's going through. And the painful truth is that most women feel it before they can name it. You sense that something is different. The energy has changed. Something is slightly off, but you can't point to a single concrete thing that proves it, so you second guess yourself. You tell yourself you're being paranoid. You push the feeling down and keep going. This video is for the woman who trusts her gut but needs the language to understand what it's telling her. Today, I'm going to walk you through 7 subtle psychological signs that a man may be entertaining the idea of infidelity, often long before anything physical has occurred. Not to create fear or suspicion, but to give you the awareness and the clarity to protect your heart, your energy, and your sense of self-worth. Knowledge is not paranoia. Knowledge is power. The best shield you can carry in any relationship is understanding. Subscribe to Female Magnetism for the psychological tools that will help you navigate love with clarity, confidence, and your dignity fully intact. Hit the notification bell and let's get into the signs. Sign number 1, the sudden privacy shift. Every person in a relationship is entitled to a reasonable degree of personal privacy, and that's completely healthy. This sign is not about a man who has always been private with his phone. It's about a change, a shift from how things used to be. Suddenly, the phone goes face down every time he sets it on a table. Suddenly, he takes it with him to the bathroom. Every single time, without exception. Suddenly, there's a new passcode you don't know, or he angles the screen away when you walk into the room. The key word here is suddenly. Behavioral changes are the signal. When a man who was previously open and unconcerned about his phone starts treating it like classified material, something has changed in what's on it or what he's afraid you might see. Privacy that protects is healthy. Privacy that conceals is a different conversation entirely. Sign number 2, unprovoked irritability. This one is subtle because it can look like stress, like a bad week at work, like any number of ordinary explanations. But there's a specific texture to this kind of irritability that sets it apart. He starts arguments about things that genuinely don't warrant an argument. He's short with you over small things. He seems to be looking for reasons to be frustrated with you, to find fault, to build a case. And here's the psychological reason this happens. When a man is entertaining a desire he knows is wrong, his conscience creates discomfort. And one of the most common ways the human mind manages that discomfort is by constructing a narrative that redistributes the blame. If he can make you the difficult one, the unreasonable one, the one who was always causing problems, it becomes easier for him to justify to himself whatever he's considering. He's not picking fights because he's angry. He's building a story that lets him feel less guilty. Sign number 3, changes in grooming habits. Attraction motivates self-improvement. When a man starts caring noticeably more about his appearance, his fitness, his clothing, or his cologne, in a way that feels sudden and disconnected from any shared context between the two of you, pay attention to the direction of that effort. There's a difference between a man who starts going to the gym and seems energized, healthier, more present with you, and a man who is upgrading his appearance in a way that doesn't seem to include you at all. He's wearing new cologne that you didn't pick together. He's buying new clothes but not asking your opinion. He's putting an effort on days or at times that don't correspond to anything the two of you are doing. Grooming and self-care are positive, but when they're oriented entirely away from the relationship, they tell you something about where his desire for approval is currently directed. Sign number 4, the projection defense. This is one of the most well-documented psychological defense mechanisms, and it is deeply telling when it appears in a relationship. Projection is what happens when a person unconsciously takes their own feelings, desires, or impulses and attributes them to someone else instead. It's the psyche's way of managing guilt by externalizing it. In the context of a relationship, this often shows up as unexpected accusations. He starts suggesting, without real evidence, that you might be hiding something. He asks suspicious questions about your friendships. He accuses you of flirting with someone when nothing in your behavior warranted the accusation. He becomes suddenly concerned about your loyalty. When a man who has never shown this kind of insecurity suddenly starts projecting it onto you, it is very often because he is dealing with feelings within himself that he hasn't found another way to process. He is, on some level, describing his own inner experience while pointing the finger at you. Sign number 5. The mention or the sudden disappearance of a new name. This sign has 2 versions, and both matter. The first version is the name that starts appearing too casually, too frequently in conversation. A coworker, a woman from his gym, someone he met through friends. He mentions her in passing, almost too naturally, the way you mention someone when you've been thinking about them more than you want to let on. The second version is the name that abruptly vanishes. He was mentioning someone, and then he stopped completely, almost as if he caught himself. Both versions are worth noticing. The casual overmention can be a way of introducing someone into your awareness slowly, testing your reaction. The sudden disappearance usually means he became aware that he was saying the name too often and made a conscious decision to stop. Neither version is definitive on its own, but both versions are your intuition speaking to you in specifics, and they deserve your attention. Sign number 6, emotional disconnection. Of all the signs on this list, this one is often the most painful because it's the one that feels the most like loss. He stopped sharing things with you, not dramatically, not all at once, but gradually. He used to tell you about his frustrations at work. He used to think out loud about his plans, his goals, his worries. He used to bring you into his inner world, as a matter of course. And now there's a quiet distance where that intimacy used to be. He's present physically, but somewhere else emotionally. The conversations stay on the surface. When you ask how he's feeling, the answers are short and closed. Emotional investment is a limited resource. We share our inner world with the people we are emotionally bonded to, the people we trust and are building something with. When that sharing stops, it often means that investment is being redirected. The emotional energy he used to bring to your relationship is going somewhere else, whether that's a person, a fantasy, or simply a growing internal detachment. Sign number 7, and arguably the most counterintuitive one on this list: excessive, unexplained kindness. Most people imagine that a man who is entertaining infidelity would become cold, distant, and withdrawn, and sometimes that's true. But there's another behavioral pattern that shows up just as often and is far less recognized: sudden, disproportionate affection, unexpected gifts for no occasion, unusual tenderness, going out of his way to be sweet, attentive, and generous in ways that feel slightly disconnected from the natural rhythm of your relationship. This is guilt behavior. When a person knows they are doing something wrong or seriously contemplating it, the conscience often compensates by overproducing acts of kindness. It's not love in those moments. It's the attempt to balance an internal ledger, to offset the weight of something he knows is a betrayal with visible demonstrations of care. Excessive kindness that appears suddenly and without clear cause is one of the most overlooked warning signs precisely because it feels like something good. Recognizing these signs is not the same as having proof, and it's not an invitation to accusations or panic. What it is information. It means that something in the connection between you may be under strain, that there are dynamics worth addressing, conversations worth having, and decisions worth making from a place of clear-eyed awareness rather than confusion or denial. What you do with this information is entirely yours to decide. But you decide it from a position of knowledge, not blindness. Comment "I trust my gut" below if you've learned to listen to what your instincts are trying to tell you. And in the next video, I'm going to walk you through how to confront a man about your concerns without losing your composure, your dignity, or your high value posture. Because how you handle this moment matters just as much as what you discover. See you there.